Christmas to everyone as we continue to celebrate the Christmas season in the octave of Christmas. Actually, the very next day after celebrating yesterday, the Feast of the Nativity of Christ, the Incarnation, Christmas, we immediately turn on this Sunday to the Feast of the Holy Family. And that's actually a great lesson for us to remember that God's grace, God's love comes to us in a very human and perfect way in Jesus, but also God's love comes to us in a very imperfect way in our own humanity within our own families. I remember so many Christmases in my growing up, just wonderful experiences of having Christmas morning together with my family, my immediate family, all who were living in the house, my grandmother and my aunts and my mother and father and my siblings. And then the next day we would have an open house and have all of our cousins and uncles and aunts, and even as I was growing up, some of our local neighborhood friends would come and join us. And what I think I learned from all of that, and I think that actually applies today is in the Feast of the Holy Family, is that this is also the incarnation of God's love. It's all around us, all of us who are made in the image and likeness of God, which is all of us who bear Christ to one another by our baptisms, and by water and the Holy Spirit, and all of the other sacraments, form a little incarnation church or incarnation home. And so there is the Spirit of God, there is God in his vulnerability within our brothers and sisters, our parents, all of our friends and family. There is God's sacrifice in all of our families and friends, those who have done wonderful things for us, who bought us presents or continue to feed and clothe us. There is God's trying to educate us in the same way that Mary and Joseph were trying to educate Jesus. And so bringing him to the temple, so much so that eventually Jesus wants to go to the temple by himself. One of the core questions about Jesus is that he says, that he discusses with his parents, is that he has to be in the temple within his Father's house. And that also is, again, for all of us, we too who come to the church, who come to study the scriptures together, we too are in our Father's house to hear his word, to question, to be formed, and then to go out, much like Jesus did, and to bring his word, his evangelizing word, out into the whole world. We do that from the context, from the launching point of our family, friends, our family homes. And so as we gather this week to celebrate the Feast of the Holy Family, I hope that you always remember the holiness of our own families and be prepared to celebrate with them, but also to remember that it is from these families which have formed us to go out and bring the message of Jesus Christ to the whole world.